Hello, I'm Mark Baer. You're watching YourTown TV. My guest this segment is Cammie Jones of CJ Organizing. Cammie is an organizer, and God knows I need organizing, which is why you're here, because it takes a village for some of us. So let's talk about you just a little bit, and how you got into some of this. And
it's, well, number one, everyone says, how did you become an organizer? And I'm always like, well, I was kind of born this way. And it sounds cliche, but the more people I know that are organizers, and I've met several, but we're all born kind of this way. But how you become professional organizer is, when I moved here, I was doing another business. So I was an entrepreneur already, and I was a member of a professional women's network group here in Monterey.
You came from Tennessee to here?
I came from...
I can hear that accent.
Yes, I was born and raised in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and then lived in Atlanta for about 11 years before I moved here. And I met with a woman who does marketing, Wendy Brickman of Brickman Marketing, to help me with this business, right? And so we're having a conversation. She's finding out more about me, and she stops, partway in the interviews and says, "Why aren't you doing organizing as a business?" And I had never thought about doing something that I love and have a natural talent for, and it being fun for me, being a business. So she actually helped me launch the business here about 6-7 months after I moved here. And as I say, the rest is history. So
before we get into this part of your life, let's talk about some of the organizing skills that you've had in terms of the community, the Professional Women's Network, as well as the Women's Council of Realtors. I guess let's start with the far past and move to the present.
Okay. So when I moved here, my husband and I relocated over a holiday. We moved here during Thanksgiving in 2007. And I tell people I took a month to unpack and organize the house. I got a job at Beverly's, and then January 3rd, I joined Professional Women's Network of Monterey. And that group is really what helped me support me, welcoming me into the community. I, had friendships that from that still to this day are very close friends and supporters. And it's just a wonderful group of women, because there's infinite number of resources in a group like that. If you ever need something, you can find somebody in the group to help you. And so when I was launching a brand new business here, it was very helpful to have that community of people who were already in business in this area, knew the community, and knew the answers that I didn't know in a new community. So it was very good and very supportive. And I always give back to things that are supporting me. So I got involved in helping them with fundraising and decorating things, and it just kind of built on that to where eventually I was on the board as their fundraising chair for a couple of years. At one point I was their president, so I was on the board.
So it sounds like, how big is that organization, and how impressive are some of the women in that? Because I've met some, and it's an impressive group.
It's an impressive group, and like a lot of groups, it's a revolving door. There are people that come and go, and then there's the people that have been in the group for 20 years, 25 years. And the membership kind of comes up and down, but it stays somewhere around that 100+ number as long as I've been here. And there's everything in there. There's dentists in there, there's been lawyers in there, there are people who are marketing specialists, there are people who are doctors. I mean, you just never know, so I always kind of, if I need something, go and check them out first.
So just before we move on, how do people find that group?
It is online. They have a website. I think it's pwn.org. And if you type in, the easiest way is just to Google it under Professional Women's Network Monterey. Okay. And it will come up a lot easier than trying to, just to type in the pwn.org sometimes. I don't know why. Sometimes, I'm not a computer person, but Professional Women's Network of Monterey, though, I'll help them.
So if you've just moved here, that seems...
it's a great group.
That seems like a great group. Or if you haven't ever thought about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to find resources in that group to help you do almost anything you want to accomplish.
Okay, now let's move on to the Women's Council of Realtors. That's where your involvement now.
Yes, yeah. So I got involved with the Women's Council of Realtors. I've been in business for several years, and my real estate agent, Danette Roberts, her and I were having lunch and talking. I said, I need a little boost. I need to branch out more, because I'd focused primarily my my work with people in communities, senior communities and things like that. And I said, I need to branch out a little more. And she said, and this is, if you knew this woman, you would say, this is Danette. She palmed the table and said, Women's Council of Realtors, you need to join right now. And I said, okay. And I did. And she got me involved with that group. Again, an incredible group of ladies and gentlemen are in the group, both realtors and non-realtors. I'm more of a supportive member, and they have
because it's
yes.
It's a bigger business than just
yes.
the sellers, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is,
Yes.
I didn't really even pick up on that until we really started talking, and I get that.
Yeah, so it has a lot of things encompassing in it, and it's a very structured group. They're a part of a more national group. But it really helped me understand also a lot more about what's going on here in the peninsula, and I've certainly met a lot of women there that have, again, helped me in my business, and I help them. And I guess my natural talent is to go towards, I'll help with the fundraising part. I'll help organize the fundraising efforts, and have helped with silent auctions and other things they've done like that, helping getting donations and alike. And then I got involved in sponsorship, so I've helped them get sponsorship the last few years, and I'm the spreadsheet girl, right? I'm back there organizing it all in spreadsheets.
Well, let's talk about cjorganizing.com. cjorganizing.com. Let's say that a few times.
Yeah, that's the website. The actual name is my full name, Cammie Jones Organizing. But that was kind of a long website, you know, so I said, let's just CJ Organizing.
So let's talk about that. Let's tell about what Cammie Jones does.
Yeah.
If we're going to call you up on the phone, what can I call you for? Because help, I'm disorganized.
Right. And that's usually actually what people say. I can always tell it's a client or a potential client calling, because when I answer the phone, they're nervous. And they're, I got your name from a friend.
People feel like they have to apologize for being unorganized.
I guess so. Yeah. And they're like, but I need your help. And I'm like, great, let's talk. And that's the one thing I tell people, no matter what you call me for, if it's a garage, the entire house, you're getting ready to move, it's an estate clean out, I mean, it's just a lot of different things, we're having a conversation first. Because sometimes during that conversation, I'm not the right person. And part of what I feel is sort of my business ethic is that if I'm not, I want to help you find that right person.
Which is its own value.
Yes. Yes.
That has its own value.
Yeah.
So they'll call you up, and first of all, I guess the most important thing we can say here is it's okay. People are disorganized. People aren't organizing professionals, and if you have an issue, there is help.
There is help.
People don't know that.
Yeah, there is help. Yeah. I think the book that's popular right now, the Maria Kondo book about the joy of tidying. I can't remember the exact title. She's a Japanese person, so she's from a different culture, but she really has some good, interesting things to say about organizing, and it's raised the awareness that hey, there are people here that do that too. And so that's nice, because I've always felt a little bit like it's like a little bit of like an underground profession. It's like, oh, you're a professional organizer. I thought those were just the people on TV. And it's like, no, there are quite a few of us that come in and help people figure out things, whether it's, like I said, everything from a garage that's, everybody's just kind of thrown everything in it and it's gotten out of control, home office, a studio. I know, you're an artist. We were talking. Felt the number of artists get things back in control, so they have a studio again. And it changes. So anything in the home, I tell people, I pretty much can help you with.
And again, how does problem solving? We talked about project management.
Right.
And so this is another. Again, I guess let's go through the whole realm of what you can do.
Well, I think one of the reasons I look at it a little bit like project management, part of my philosophy is that, organizing has 3 phases. First, you have to know that there's an issue and just make that decision. I'm doing something about this today. I'm not letting it ride anymore. I'm taking action. And the second thing is to develop a plan, which most people don't. They just run in there and start tossing things here and there, or take everything out and don't really know what they're going to do with it afterwards. So they don't think through the process of a plan. And then the third thing is to partner with somebody to help you do it and to help you implement it. And I've had people that, with some guidance, and they start getting it, and they are able to do fine on their own once they've had somebody help them develop a plan, help them get started. Other people, you know, I take them by the hand and I'm managing that project all the way through. From the very beginning to the end. If we need resources, I call in extra resources. I drive a Honda Civic. We were talking.
Yeah, so
I'm not putting furniture in my Honda Civic.
Yeah.
But you know, I do take things to donation for them.
Yeah.
If they have things they want to sell, I try to match them up with somebody
Are you
who's
teaching people
business.
about eBay, that they can actually
Well,
sell some of their
you
stuff?
can sell things on eBay. That's not my personal
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
But I know people who are very good at
Yeah.
selling things. And we have people here that do consignment and things too.
Yeah.
So I'm a very big believer in supporting local
Yeah.
businesses.
Yes.
So it works out real well to pull in those other resources. As a solo entrepreneur, your strength is your business partnerships. And those business partnerships are forged in groups like we talked about, Professional Women's Network, Women's Council of Realtors, and you know, I could go on, but I won't. And that's your strength here, is in having those connections. So when you're looking at a large project, that you have those resources to pull in.
So one of
Yeah.
the resistance you're going to get, well, that all sounds great,
Yes.
but I can't afford that. But let's talk about affordability of this. Let's talk about the luxury of what you do.
Right.
And is it affordable, and who can afford to do this?
Right. I've had clients all over the peninsula. I've had clients, of course, a lot of my clients are people who are in Carmel, all different parts of Carmel is how I describe it nowadays. And I go to Salinas. I've had people in Seaside, Prunedale. So affordability is in the mind of a person who is not thinking out of the box. Because to me, my prices are fairly affordable. It's not, you know, I don't charge what they would up in San Francisco or LA, which would probably be about twice as much. But I also work with people who need the service, and if the money is the issue, I say, well, then let's talk about that first, and let's come up with a plan for that so that it makes it affordable, so that it works for you. Because if it doesn't work for you, you're not going to get the help. And so I never let that be a barrier. And most of the people...
And also, time is money. So
Time is
if you're going
money.
to sit there and dither, and physical time sitting and dithering,
Right.
which if you don't deal with the problem correctly, you'll spend a lot of time moving pile A to pile B to pile C. Real physical time, that's real money.
It is, and a lot of people get, I like how you describe that, because I have worked with some clients that at some point I said, you know, I've been here, you know, a couple of 3 times now, and this is what you're doing, and this is what we're doing, and if we're going to accomplish your goal, we have to stop moving things around. It's not a chess game here, you know. It actually, something needs to go off the board.
Yeah.
You know, things need to go off the board here, and I work with people, and I'm like this. I'm pretty transparent. I work from my heart. We laugh. We have a good time. Sometimes people I'm working with, they've lost a loved one that they were very close to, and so I try to be
You're in a lot of
supportive that
transitional
way.
situations.
A lot of transitional situations, and you have to be aware of that. And I guess some of the things some things people, well, aren't you hard-nosed on people? And I'm like, no. I mean, if they have something that's been dear to them their entire life, why would you want that to go away? Now, it might not be something that I personally care for, but there's a place for it in their home, or we will find a place so that not only do they keep it, but then they're honoring it, so that it's a place where they can see it and enjoy it and get those feelings that they want from it back, rather than being, if it's tucked in a box under the bed collecting dust, well, that's probably not going to work, right?
So you have, let's talk about this, because some people may need you, some people may not need you,
Right.
but everybody needs an organizing philosophy.
That's true.
And let's talk about your organizing philosophy.
Okay. My philosophy is, when you walk into my home, that you really, organizing is about, can you find it? Okay, can you put your hand on it? You don't have to spend 20 minutes digging for it and trying to remember where it went. So I kind of let that philosophy come through in working with people, that sure, we're going to get some things off the chessboard. We're going to take things to donation or sell or whatever happens to recycle some things. But you don't want it all to come back. So my philosophy is, one, organize it as you go and work with the person's natural inclinations of how they work. They're different than me and from you. And create a system so that they can work with that system and it stays organized. I've had clients that I've worked with several years ago in their office and say, you know, your little system of the boxes with the really big labels that I can see across the room, I still have them. They're great. You know, and I'll go and do a touch-up, but the fact is, okay, we hit on something they liked and it works for them, then they're going to use it. My philosophy is not to make it too hard.
How do you keep up on best practices? I mean, do you keep learning?
Always, always. I'm a lifelong learner, and I think that's my, you know, if people say, what's your strongest point? I'm like, I am a lifelong learner. Teach me something new every day, and I'm happy. When I first moved here, I worked part-time at Beverly's while I was working on getting my business going, and I think that was very different for me. I'm not a craft-oriented person, but it opened up a whole new world.
There's some amazing characters that roll through there.
Oh, there are. Both client, you know, their customer base and the people who work there.
Who knew that when you had a hole in your Carhartt suit that you could buy a patch and iron it on?
That's right.
Who the hell knew that?
And you could reinforce it with the stuff that goes around the edges and all that. It's amazing. It's
Who knows
amazing.
what's out there?
So I enjoyed my time there and learned a lot from that. But the thing was, I also learned about things I didn't have experience in. And so I learned a little bit about staging and about home decor and, you know, kind of massaging some things to make them look better and about placement. So I brought that into my organizing business. Some of that, you know, it falls back on everything you do in your life is falling back on that experience.
Now, what does, in our last minute here, what does the organized mind look like? Because that's something I've always dreamed of.
Well, you know, first it looks like a brain. It's green, you know, and has all the little synapses going on. But I think that is you emphasize what you want to in life. You know, so if some people that I work with, if they keep saying, I'm just always disorganized, I first of all tell them, change your language to, no, I am organized. I just need to learn better routines and better practices. So I think that's teachable. It's a matter of finding some routines and some practices that work for you, and then that kind of helps the brain be organized, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E.
I think, you know, so I can do those things. Right. But things get out of control. So
life happens.
and the mess grows, and the mess gets to a certain, you know, I'm one of those frogs that got boiled slowly.
Oh no.
you know, that just didn't hop out of the water. So things got overwhelmed that I don't see anymore. Right. And we'll talk about that next time, because we're out of here. I'm with Cammie Jones, cjorganizing.com, cjorganizing.com. I'm Mark Baer. You're watching YourTown TV, and we'll be back.